his ministers and ministers of state, to the Honorable Tracy Panton, leader of the opposition, and members on her side of the House, and to you, Madam Speaker. Honorable members, let us now pray. Almighty and eternal God, who through Jesus Christ has revealed your glory to all nations, please protect and preserve Belize, our beloved country. God of might, industry, sobriety, and useful knowledge. We pray, O God of mercy, for all of us, that we may be blessed in the knowledge and sanctified in the observance of your most holy law, that we may be preserved in union and in that peace which the world itself cannot give. And after enjoying the blessings of this life, please admit us, dear Lord, to that eternal reward that you have prepared for those who love you. Amen.
Honorable members, good morning. My apologies for the late start. As you would have witnessed just now, the control room was having an issue. I would like to think that it's been addressed and we won't have that static for further deliberations. If there is, we may need to just suspend so that they can further address it for purposes of the live stream. Before we resume with our first member for the day on the budget debate, it would be remiss of me not to bring to the attention of members that we do have visitor protocols, and I know that we have visitors with us. Welcome. One of those protocols, visitors, is that, and the signs are actually on the wall, is that we ask, while we allow phones to be brought in, we ask that they be kept on silent or vibrate. If you must take a call, we ask that you go outside to take the call. But we also ask that you respect the space of the chamber and you do not take photos of members in the chamber. If this continues to be an issue, as it has been brought to my attention over the past 3 meetings held in this building, then we will have to revisit those protocols where visitors, like many other parliaments, are not allowed to bring in their phones. We would not like to get there. So I ask for your kind cooperation on that rule out of respect to all members in the chamber.
As a clarification, would it also include that the media would not be allowed to take pictures too?
For the clarification, media who are accredited, and we've had extensive conversations with the media, only the media is allowed to use their cameras, and yes, the media can take general photos. What we have always asked of all the media is that we respect the sanctity of this space in the chamber. We've had a very good relationship with the media, and I thank you for that. I suspect all media are wearing their passes. We will only improve the institution of Parliament with the support of all those. Thank you for the clarification.
Absolutely clear. at a meeting when the President Ali was here, from the other side they were taking pictures of us and you know, but just a moment that you close there and make one big deal and they sent it to make it come out in the media and the UDP newspaper. We never cry foul. You know, okay, but it seems that for anything the other side don't want to cry foul for everything, man. We need to just, it's a part of the process. But
So, no, members, no.
Madam Speaker, I want to be clear though, because no one has cried foul. There are rules that must be respected in this House. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Members, this won't be a back and forth as we are resuming, and I asked for the indulgence for this clarification. To be absolutely clear, no one person has brought any issue to me about a specific issue. The office has brought to my attention 3 specific instances. One against government side, one against opposition side, and it appears of the 3 instances, it has come from members in the public gallery, yes, but it also appears that it has come too from members within the chamber, which is a members' protocol. So I advise all members that in the coming weeks, you will get also a protocol specific to members. It's in respect for all of you and really in respect of the institution of Parliament. And with that, I will now call on the member for Fort George.
Sure, Madam Speaker.
Oh, there's an echo
There
or a
is.
feedback. I'm just alerting this to the control room. There's a bit of an echo. It's being addressed. Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Speaker. And yes, we do need to address that echo because I talk very loud. Good morning, Prime Minister, colleagues on both sides of the House, and visitors in the gallery. I rise to give my contribution to the draft estimates for revenue and expenditure for fiscal year 2026-2027. And I ask your indulgence as per Standing Order 35-6 to refer to my notes. Is there still an echo?
Let's try this. Continue. They'll signal to me when it's been.
You see, Madam Speaker, in Fort George we say blaze your fire, so sometimes not even the audio system could handle Fort George when it comes to that. Madam Speaker, I stand here today by the grace of the Almighty and with a deep sense of responsibility and humility as the area representative for the proud and resilient people of Fort George. The residents of Fort George have entrusted me with the privilege of representing their voices in this honorable House, and I remain committed to ensuring that the work we do here continues to improve not only their lives, but the lives of all Belizeans. Yes, they are my bosses, and I am here to serve them, to empower them, to improve their lives, and to make sure that our Fort George community is forever blazing. In the gallery today, Madam Speaker, are some of the Fort George faithful who continue to carry the torch of the revolution, a revolution that recently celebrated its 75th anniversary milestone. We are grateful for those who lay the foundation upon which we continue to build this legacy of service. We are reminded of the sacrifices they made and consequently must rededicate ourselves to the principles enshrined in our Constitution: social, economic, and environmental justice. Madam Speaker, as we start day 2 of the debate, And before I get into my presentation, please grant leave for just a few allowances. First, I'd like to acknowledge you, Madam Speaker, Madam Clerk, and the staff of the National Assembly for the stellar work that you have been doing as a team. We have seen vast improvements in the delivery of documents, responsiveness, and in the overall business of the House. Of course, I can't leave out the Sergeant at Arms Roberto Marque Perifit, admirably filling in for Henry Martis. Second, Madam Speaker, I take this opportunity to wish all Belizeans a safe and blessed Easter in advance. At church on Sunday, the priest encouraged us to use the season of Lent to renew and deepen our faith. He said the same way our phones need to be charged when the batteries run low, we need a boost from time to time to recharge our relationship with God. This time of year is the best time to do that, Madam Speaker. And finally, Madam Speaker, among the persons that I just recently mentioned is a member of the Fort George Executive Committee, Mr. Carlos Matos. Carlos underwent a life-saving surgery last year, a surgery that was at best 50-50. But it is because of his enduring faith, the love and support of his wife Rosita and his family, and the incredible work of the surgeons, doctors, nurses, and all medical personnel of the Carl Hushner Memorial Hospital that Carlos is here today, Madam Speaker, and is able to flash that trademark smile. I'm glad to see you here, Carlos. I will do that, Prime Minister. Of course I need to. But Prime Minister, I can't say enough about the dedication of the KHMH, especially Nurse Lydia Blake, who updated his family every step of the way. Too often, Madam Speaker, the opposition and a conflict-fueled media are quick to criticize and condemn the hospital and the medical system. And I know that yesterday the Minister of Health, the member for Orange Walk East, highlighted all the work being done and investments being made in the healthcare system, including NHI, so I don't need to repeat. But this is to reinforce that by only focusing on the negative, Madam Speaker, many people fail to see when a miracle happens. Madam Speaker, this negativity seems to be endemic in the opposition, and that is why they remain divided. Members of our own party criticized the leader of the opposition's 2-hour rebuttal, calling it baseless and lacking in substance. All Channel 7 could say was that it was 20 minutes longer than the Prime Minister's speech. And while these persons are not wrong, it seems that the real reason they did not like it is because it was not negative enough. And maybe the member for Albert is trying to break away from all that, but she still has a far way to go. I wasn't here, Madam Speaker, yesterday, but I did tune in to the presentation, most of it, because I wanted to hear what proposals, plans, alternatives that the leader of the opposition would offer. But like speeches before, there were none. No plan, no alternative allocation of resources, no cost-saving proposals, no different implementation strategy. It seemed to be AI-generated criticism without grounded solutions. Madam Speaker, we know about ChatGPT. Well, now there is ChatUDP. Talk and more talk without any authentic ideas. While framed as a critique of the government's economic direction, the speech was repetitive and lacked detailed analysis. The budget figures were hardly referred to and only in passing. As the Deputy Prime Minister pointed out yesterday, the leader of the opposition raised the issue of borrowing, but failed to mention that debt to GDP has been slashed in half. She criticized financial management, but gave no evidence to back the claim, ignoring the fact that because of government's fiscal responsibility, there was yet another primary surplus of 1.4%, and the overall deficit was less than was projected. She did not mention that the Belizean economy is projected to grow despite all the external shocks, because this government had the foresight to develop prudential safeguards and the political will to implement them. Each year, tough decisions need to be made to ensure that spending is focused on the priority areas that have the biggest positive impact for our citizens. It is easy to sit on that side and criticize, Madam Speaker, but leadership requires more. And most damning on opposition is that their rhetoric is empty and it can't be trusted. It does not match their actions nor their behavior. The opposition said to pay the public officers, but when the government proposed in this House the salary adjustment of 8.5% and the unfreezing of 2 increments, the opposition voted against it. They voted against the payment of approved allowances for BDF soldiers. That is on the record for what the opposition represents. The opposition made grand speeches about workplace safety, but when the government introduced the OSH bill in this House, the leader of the opposition and all members from that side were absent in a petty boycott that backfired, so much so that they had to put out a shamefaced press release after. That is on the record. Well, Madam Speaker, I am proud to say that the government of the People's United Party delivered for the public officers, teachers and soldiers and approved the salary adjustments and the increments. Likewise, the PUP government passed the OSH bill in this House. Let's see now if the opposition will support in the Senate. There is a pattern of behavior with the opposition that they will say whatever is politically expedient, but when the time comes for action or for a hard decision to be made, they are absent. As one person posted in response to the leader of the opposition speech, Belizeans do not need more empty commentary. They need solutions, action, and results. And Madam Speaker, that is what this government, under the leadership of the Honorable John Briceño, remains focused on delivering. It is therefore both an honor and a duty for me to support the 2026-2027 budget presented by our Prime Minister. This budget reflects the continued commitment of this administration to strengthening our national institutions, supporting our public officers, and ensuring that Belize remains resilient in the face of both economic and environmental challenges. Turning now, Madam Speaker, to the portfolios which I manage. The Ministry of Public Service and Disaster Risk Management plays a unique and vital role in the national effort. Our ministry stands at the intersection of governance, human resource development, disaster preparedness, and national resilience. Through our departments and units, we work each day to ensure that the machinery of government operates efficiently, that our public officers are supported and developed, and that our country is prepared to respond effectively to emergencies and disasters. The theme that best captures the work of our ministry over this past year is investing in people, building resilience. We invest in people by strengthening the Belize public service, expanding opportunities for training and professional development, and ensuring that public officers are equipped with the tools and the support they need to serve the Belizean people with excellence. At the same time, we build resilience by strengthening our disaster preparedness systems, improving coordination among response agencies, and ensuring that Belize is better prepared to face the growing threats posed by climate change and natural hazards. These two priorities, investing in people and building resilience, are inseparable. A capable and professional public service is essential to national development, and a resilient nation depends on strong institutions and dedicated public officers who are ready to respond whenever the country needs them most. Today, Madam Speaker, I will highlight the work undertaken across the various departments and units. These include the Accounts and Finance Unit, the Human Resource Management Information System Unit, the Job Classification and Compensation Unit, the Human Resources Unit, the Public Service Commission, the Customer Service and Quality Assurance Unit, and the Employee Assistance Program. In addition, I will highlight the critical work of our National Emergency and Resilience Agencies, the National Meteorological Service of Belize, the National Emergency Management Organization, and the Belize National Fire Service. Together, these units represent the backbone of our efforts to modernize the Belize public service and strengthen the country's preparedness for the challenges ahead. I need to acknowledge the stewardship of my CEO, Rolando Zetina. Over the past 4 years, he has steadily guided the ministry from achievement to achievement having to deal with the HR matters for all of government. I am certain that many days are long and challenging, but he's always up to the task. Rolando celebrated a birthday yesterday, Madam Speaker, but I'll leave his age off the Hansard record for now. And of course, I would never be able to organize and complete the work of all units without the support of Ms. Christine Hyde. From day one, she has been there showing me the way. Thank you, Christine. I would first like to highlight the important work of the Accounts and Finance Unit, which plays a central role in ensuring that the Ministry operates with strong financial oversight, accountability, and efficiency. The work of the unit, led by Mrs. Sonia Ojeda-Pat, may not always be visible to the public, but it is absolutely essential to the smooth functioning of the Ministry. During the past fiscal year, the Accounts and Finance Unit handled a substantial volume of financial activity in support of the Ministry's programs and operations. Madam Speaker, over the reporting period, the unit processed thousands of payments in support of the Ministry's work, ensuring that vendors, service providers, and operational partners were paid in a timely manner. In addition to routine payments and payment processing, the unit has also managed the processing of retroactive payments for public officers, an exercise that requires careful verification and coordination to ensure accuracy and fairness in the disbursement of funds. These retroactive payments represent an important commitment by this administration to honor the entitlements of all public officers and to ensure that the financial obligations of government are met. The Accounts and Finance Unit also supports procurement activities for the Ministry, ensuring that goods and services required by departments and agencies are acquired in accordance with established government procedures. This work is critical to supporting the operations of the Ministry's various units and ensuring that programs are implemented effectively. Madam Speaker, the unit also plays a role in the management of rental agreements and facility-related expenditures, helping to ensure that the Ministry's offices and operational spaces remain functional and accessible. This past year, a lease officer post was created and filled to ensure that government receives value for money for all rentals. The premises are inspected to verify that public officers will be working in a safe and secure location and that the terms that are negotiated are done in a way to ensure the best possible price. This was a recommendation of the Cost Saving Committee, Madam Speaker, made up jointly of government and union representatives. Additionally, the Accounts and Finance Unit supports internship and training opportunities, working alongside other units to facilitate opportunities for young Belizeans to gain valuable experience within government. The work of this unit may not always be visible to the public, but it is absolutely essential to the smooth functioning of the Ministry. Through careful financial oversight and strong administrative support, the unit helps ensure that public funds are managed responsibly and that the programs of the Ministry can be implemented effectively. Central to the success of any government is the strength and professionalism of its public service. Our public officers remain the engine through which policies are implemented, programs are delivered, and citizens receive the services they depend on every day. For this reason, this administration has remained steadfast in its commitment to investing in the development, modernization, and professional growth of the Belize Public Service. A key driver of this effort is the work of the Training and Development Unit, which is headed by Ms. Cordelia Belizier. This unit plays a vital role in strengthening the capacity of public officers across the government by ensuring that officers are equipped with the knowledge, skills, and professional standards required to deliver quality public service. Since the reintroduction of the induction training program in 2022, a total of 2,043 public officers have enrolled in the program. This initiative ensures that both new and existing officers gain a comprehensive understanding of the structure of the public service, the regulations that guide their work, and the responsibilities they carry as servants of the Belizean people. During the 2025-26 fiscal year alone, 372 public officers successfully completed this program, achieving an impressive 87% success rate. This demonstrates both the commitment of our officers to professional development and the effectiveness of the program in equipping them with the knowledge required to perform their duties with excellence. The ministry has also continued to strengthen career advancement opportunities within the public service through several professional certification and promotional programs. The clerical promotional program, which remains a key requirement for advancement within the administrative cadre, saw 76 officers participating during this reporting period. Of these participants, 58 officers successfully completed the program, representing a 76% success rate. Similarly, the Secretarial Promotional Program, which supports the professional advancement of entry-level secretaries within the public service, currently has 33 officers enrolled, with the program scheduled to conclude later this year. These initiatives ensure that public officers are able not only to grow professionally, but also remain equipped with the skills required to deliver efficient and responsive services to the Belizean people. We are also witnessing significant progress in specialized training, Madam Speaker, initiatives that strengthen key institutions of government. Through collaboration with Galen University, the ministry supported the implementation of the Elections and Boundaries Professional Certification Program, designed specifically to enhance the competencies of officers responsible for administering Belize's democratic processes. A total of 26 officers participated in this program, including both registering officers and assistant registering officers. I am pleased to report that 22 officers successfully completed the program. Another important initiative undertaken during this fiscal year was the Public Financial Management Certification Program, implemented under the Program for Strengthening Public Expenditure Management. This initiative represents a significant step towards strengthening accountability, transparency, and efficiency in the management of public finances across the public service. During the first cohort of the program, 82 officers participated as mandatory participants, alongside 36 voluntary participants from across the public service. Of these, 60 officers successfully achieved certification, while 21 of the voluntary officers also successfully completed the program, an achievement rate of 81%, Madam Speaker. These achievements represent a major investment in strengthening the capacity of our public officers to manage both public resources responsibly and effectively. Beyond training initiatives, the ministry also continues to support the academic and professional advancement of public officers through study leave, financial assistance, and other development opportunities. During this fiscal year, a total of 338 approvals were processed to support public officers pursuing further education and professional qualifications. These approvals included paid study leave, financial assistance, increments for higher academic qualifications, and reinstatement of salaries following the completion of studies. Currently, 96 public officers are benefiting from paid study leave, and notably, about 82% of these officers are women. Madam Speaker, this is particularly significant as we observe Women's Month, and it highlights the growing leadership and professional development of women within the Belize Public Service. Madam Speaker, I turn now to the Job Classification and Compensation Unit. This unit is led by Mrs. Marilyn Lee Pinello. The work of this unit is fundamental to maintaining a structured, equitable, and efficient public service. Through its ongoing responsibilities, the unit ensures that positions across government are properly evaluated, that job descriptions accurately reflect the duties and responsibilities assigned to public officers, and that compensation structures remain aligned with the scope and complexity of those roles. This work safeguards fairness, consistency, and transparency across the public service while supporting the evolving needs of government. This work has taken on even greater significance with the advancement of the Civil Service Modernization Program being supported by the Inter-American Development Bank. This program represents a critical and timely intervention to strengthen human resource management, improve efficiency in public expenditure, and modernize the structure of Belize's public service. In recent years, Madam Speaker, Belize has made notable progress in strengthening fiscal stability. However, increasing pressures from a growing public sector wage bill and expanding employment levels have underscored the urgent need for reform. The Civil Service Modernization Program directly addresses these challenges by introducing a comprehensive and strategic approach to human resource management across government. At the center of this transformation is the JCCU, which has been identified as a key technical lead in advancing pay and grading reform. Through targeted technical assistance and capacity building support from the IDB, the unit is being strengthened to undertake critical functions, including job evaluation, classification, and the development of a modern, transparent, and equitable pay structure. Significant progress has already been made. Officers across the public service, including members of the JCCU and administrative officers, have undergone specialized training in job description development, addressing long-standing gaps where public officers were operating without formally approved job descriptions. Madam Speaker, it is critical that our partners in the unions play an important role in the implementation of every facet of this project, and I can say that they recognize the challenge and they want to achieve what we need to achieve. This initiative is laying the foundation for a more accountable and structured human resource system. Further technical work is currently underway to evaluate positions across the public service and to align them with a unified pay framework, moving away from the complex and fragmented systems of the past. This reform will not only enhance fairness and transparency, but also improve the government's ability to attract and retain skilled professionals at all levels. Madam Speaker, the program goes beyond pay and classification reform. It introduces a comprehensive suite of interventions, including the digitization of human resource processes, the development of an integrated human resource management information system, strengthened workforce planning, and the modernization of organizational structures across government. Importantly, the program will also promote a more performance-oriented culture within the public service, supported by improved system, stronger oversight, and enhanced accountability mechanisms. To support the successful implementation of this program, the government is taking decisive steps to strengthen institutional arrangements, including the establishment of a dedicated project execution unit within the Ministry of the Public Service and the formation of a high-level steering committee to guide and oversee reform. These efforts are supported by a technical cooperation agreement and will be further advanced through a proposed development loan with the IDB, which will provide the necessary resources to fully implement this transformative program. Together, Madam Speaker, these initiatives represent a bold and necessary step forward toward building a more modern, efficient, and responsive public service, one that delivers better value for money, supports national development, and ensures that public officers are compensated fairly and transparently for the work that they do. Madam Speaker, alongside these efforts, the Ministry has also continued to make significant progress toward the digital modernization of human resource management across the government of Belize. This work is being led by Ms. Radisha Simpson. The unit, the HRMS, plays a critical role in strengthening the management of human resource data across the public service. By maintaining centralized and reliable employee information systems, the unit supports transparency, improves efficiency, and enables more informed decision-making across government institutions. Over the past year, the Ministry has made meaningful progress toward the implementation of the Neo-People Human Resource Management System. This represents a comprehensive software platform designed to modernize and streamline the management of human resources within the Belize Public Service. Once fully implemented, the system will significantly enhance operational efficiency, improve the overall employee experience, and provide government with more advanced tools to manage and support its workforce. In preparation for the implementation of this new system, Madam Speaker, the unit conducted a series of sensitization sessions with administrative personnel across several ministries and departments. These sessions were designed to familiarize public officers with the upcoming changes and to ensure that ministries are prepared for the transition toward a more digital and efficient human resource management environment. Another key component of this modernization effort involves the installation of biometric devices across government departments. These devices will support modern attendance management systems and allow for more accurate workforce monitoring across the public service. As of January this year, a total of 77 devices has already been installed across government offices nationwide, with an additional 168 biometric devices pending installation. This represents a major step forward in strengthening accountability, improving workforce management, and supporting more efficient human resource operations throughout the public service. Madam Speaker, the HRMS unit is also actively working on the customization of the recruitment module within the same NeoPeople system. This will soon become the primary platform through which vacancies within the public service are advertised. This modernization will improve the efficiency of recruitment processes while increasing transparency and accessibility for Belizeans seeking opportunities to serve within the public sector. By digitizing and centralizing the recruitment process, the government of Belize is creating a more streamlined pathway for talented individuals to enter the public service and to contribute to national development. These efforts will allow government leaders and administrators to make more informed decisions about the management, development, and distribution of human resources across the public sector. Madam Speaker, beyond modernization initiatives, the unit continues to provide essential operational support to public officers across government. Over the past year, the unit processed approximately 5,000 HR and payroll submissions, ensuring that administrative processes relating to employee records, benefits, and payroll adjustments were handled efficiently and accurately. The unit also responded to an average of 70 internal queries per month from within the ministries, providing technical support to ensure that systems remain functional and accessible to staff. Through the MyGOB Leave portal, the HRMS team addressed approximately 700 queries and requests through its ticketing system over the past year. These requests range from leave management issues to technical assistance for public officers navigating the system. Together, these initiatives represent a deliberate and sustained effort by this administration to modernize the Belize public service and to ensure that public officers are equipped, supported, and empowered to meet the evolving needs of our nation. Madam Speaker, when we invest in the systems that support our public officers, we strengthen the entire machinery of government. And when government institutions operate efficiently and transparently, the ultimate beneficiaries are the Belizean people. Madam Speaker, while modernization and training are essential to building a capable public service, strong governance and institutional oversight remain equally important to ensuring that the Belize Public Service continues to operate with integrity, fairness, and professionalism. In this regard, the Public Service Commission plays a critical constitutional role in the management of the public service. The Commission is responsible for matters relating to the appointment, promotion, discipline, and removal of public officers. Through these functions, it helps to ensure that the public service operates on the principles of merit, accountability, and impartiality. The work of the Commission helps safeguard the integrity of the Belize Public Service and ensures that decisions affecting public officers are made through established procedures and regulatory frameworks. By maintaining these standards, the Commission contributes to the stability and professionalism of the public service and supports the continued delivery of services to the Belizean people. Special thanks to the dedicated members of the Commission and to the Secretarial Unit who provide administrative support. Equally important to the effectiveness of government is the quality of the experience that citizens have when they interact with public institutions. Every day, Belizeans visit government offices seeking assistance, applying for services, or accessing important information. These interactions shape the public's confidence in government and influence how citizens perceive the institutions that serve them. For this reason, the work of the Customer Service and Quality Assurance Unit remains an important part of our ministry's mandate. This unit works across ministries and departments to promote higher standards of service delivery throughout the public sector. Through training initiatives, service assessments, and ongoing collaboration with government offices, the unit helps strengthen a culture of professionalism, courtesy, and efficiency within the public service. The goal is simple but significant: to ensure that Belizeans who engage with government institutions are treated with respect and that the services they receive are delivered efficiently and effectively. Improving customer service, Madam Speaker, within government is not only about administrative processes, it is about strengthening public trust. When citizens feel heard, respected, and supported by public institutions, confidence in government grows, and the relationship between the state and its people becomes stronger. Additionally, Mrs. Freya August Parham and her team ensure the annual National Public Service Day goes off without a hitch and is used as a platform to highlight and commend career public officers for their years of hard work, dedication, and service. The unit has also spearheaded the expansion of the Belize Public Service Walk of Recognition and Appreciation, further institutionalizing a culture of care while adding to the rich cultural history and offering of the capital city, Belmopan. As we work to strengthen the systems and culture of the public service, we must also recognize that the well-being of our public officers themselves is an essential component of a healthy and productive workforce. Public officers carry significant responsibilities. They work long hours to deliver services, implement policies, and support national development. Many of them also face personal challenges and pressures, both within and outside of the workplace. This is why the work of the Employee Assistance Program, headed by Mrs. Crawford, remains so important. The program provides professional counseling, psychosocial support, and guidance to public officers who may be facing personal or work-related difficulties. By offering a confidential support service, the program helps officers navigate challenges that could otherwise affect their performance, well-being, or professional development. The Employee Assistance Program also conducts workplace sensitization sessions and outreach activities aimed at promoting mental wellness, stress management, and healthier working environments across the public service. Madam Speaker, supporting the well-being of our public officers is not simply a matter of compassion, it is also a matter of strengthening the public service itself. When officers are supported, valued, and equipped to manage the challenges they face, they are better able to perform their duties and continue serving the Belizean people with dedication and professionalism. Taken together, the work of these units reflects this administration's commitment to building a public service that is not only efficient and modern, but also ethical, responsive, and supportive of the people who serve within it. Madam Speaker, while a large part of the work of this ministry focuses on strengthening the Belize public service, an equally critical responsibility lies in safeguarding our nation from emergencies and disasters. Belize is a country that faces a range of natural disasters and natural hazards, from hurricanes and floods to fires and severe weather events. The increasing impacts of climate change continue to amplify these risks, making preparedness and coordinated response more important than ever. Ensuring that our country is equipped to anticipate, prepare for, and respond to these challenges is a central component of the ministry's mandate. In this regard, 3 national institutions play especially vital roles in protecting lives, property, and communities across Belize. Each of these agencies operate on the front lines of national resilience, providing critical services that help our country to keep safe and prepared. Preparedness begins with knowledge of the weather patterns that shape our environment, and the ability to anticipate hazards before they impact our communities. This responsibility rests with the National Meteorological Service of Belize, whose work forms the foundation of our country's early warning system. Yesterday, World Meteorological Day was celebrated under the theme, Together Through Weather, Building a Safer and Stronger Belize. Every day, the meteorologists, technicians, and climate specialists of this department, led by Mr. Ronald Gordon, monitor atmospheric conditions, interpret complex forecasting models, and provide the weather and climate information that allows our nation to prepare for potential hazards. Their work supports not only disaster preparedness, but also key sectors of the Belizean economy, including agriculture, aviation, tourism, marine operations, and energy. Over the past year, the Meteorological Service has made important progress in strengthening both its technical capacity and its human resources. 2 officers successfully completed specialized training in weather forecasting at the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology in Barbados, with 1 officer advancing to pursue a bachelor's degree in computer science and meteorology, and another continuing with a master's degree in applied meteorology and climatology. In addition, 2 officers completed postgraduate studies in disaster risk management and climate change science and policy in New Zealand, further strengthening Belize's national expertise in climate and disaster science. 3 additional officers have now begun formal weather forecasting training at the same institute in Barbados, while 4 other staff members are currently pursuing higher education at local universities. These investments, Madam Speaker, in education ensure that Belize continues to build a new generation of skilled meteorological professionals. The department has also expanded training opportunities for its staff through workshops, webinars, and specialized technical courses. This included training in basic radar repair and maintenance for the Electronics and Information Technology section, as well as a specialized training under the Climate Resilient and Sustainable Agriculture project. Through this initiative, meteorological officers and agricultural stakeholders participated in participatory integrated climate services for agriculture training, equipping farmers and agricultural planners with climate information that can guide planting decisions, crop management, and pest risk management. Madam Speaker, beyond strengthening human capacity, the department has continued improving the delivery of weather and climate services to the Belizean people. The department's mobile weather application has now been expanded to include the Apple iOS platform, allowing even greater access to forecasts and weather information. The application has also been enhanced with new products designed specifically for the agricultural sector, including climate information related to pest risks and weather-driven crop conditions. At the same time, the Meteorological Service has continued to strengthen its climate database management system, improving the quality control of weather and climate data, and automating the collection and transmission of meteorological observations through the World Meteorological Organization information system. Belize is also advancing toward impact-based weather forecasting, which focuses not only on predicting weather conditions, but also on understanding the real-world impacts those conditions may have on vulnerable communities. Through a project supported by the Korean International Cooperation Agency, hazard mapping and vulnerability assessments were conducted in the Orange Walk and Toledo districts, helping to identify communities most at risk from severe weather and climate impacts. In addition, Madam Speaker, Belize continues to implement the multi-hazard impact-based forecasting project in the Belize River watershed, supported by the Caribbean Development Bank through the Caribbean Action for Resilience Enhancement Program, with funding totaling more than $1.2 million. Madam Speaker, the Meteorological Service has also secured significant international support aimed at strengthening Belize's weather observation systems and early warning capabilities. Belize is among the first countries globally to receive funding from the Systematic Observing Financing Facility. These monies were approved to improve the National Weather Observation Network and strengthen institutional capacity within the service. In addition, Madam Speaker, more than $25 million in funding has been approved through the Green Climate Fund for a regional project aimed at strengthening hydrometeorological services and early warning systems in Belize and Trinidad. Of this total, more than $10 million will support improvements to meteorological disaster management and hydrological services in Belize over the next 5 years. Madam Speaker, these initiatives represent a major step forward in the modernization of Belize's weather and climate monitoring systems. The department is also currently developing a 5-year strategic development plan supported by the World Meteorological Organization and the Caribbean Meteorological Organization, which will guide the continued development of weather, climate, and marine services in Belize. The Meteorological Service also continues to maintain and strengthen its national observation network. During the past year, 9 additional weather stations were installed across the country, while 4 existing stations were refurbished and maintained. Critical spare parts were also procured for the National Doppler Weather Radar, ensuring that this essential forecasting tool continues to operate effectively. The department also upgraded its information and communications infrastructure with nearly $100,000 Belize in new ICT and multimedia equipment, strengthening its ability to collect, analyze, and disseminate weather information. Through its upgraded website and digital platforms, the department delivers forecasts, climate outlooks, and specialized products that are used daily by citizens, businesses, and government agencies alike. The department also continues to present Belize in major international climate forums, including the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change at the Conference of the Parties, ensuring that Belize remains actively engaged in global climate science and policy discussions. Madam Speaker, while forecasting allows us to anticipate hazards, preparedness and coordinated response are the responsibility of the National Emergency Management Organization. NEMO continues to strengthen Belize's national disaster preparedness systems through strategic planning, targeted training, and sustained community engagement. Over the past year, the department conducted operational planning workshops and developed a comprehensive operational planning manual to guide disaster response. The department also supported the establishment of a national wildfire response task force, providing critical equipment for 10 wildfire response teams in the Toledo district. In addition, Belize successfully completed both the Belize City Tsunami Response Plan and the National Tsunami Response Plan, significantly strengthening coastal hazard preparedness and national response coordination. At the community level, NEMO continues to build resilience where it matters most. 9 community emergency response teams were established in the Toledo and Belize districts, with additional teams to be rolled out under a project funded by the CDB. The department also oversaw the repair and upgrading of more than 50 emergency shelters across Belize, many of which are schools. These efforts ensure safer and more reliable facilities for communities during times of crisis. Madam Speaker, a major milestone in advancing Belize's disaster risk management agenda is the development of the Belize Comprehensive Disaster Risk Management Country Work Program 2026-2030. This transformative, results-based program provides a clear and coordinated roadmap toward a more resilient and disaster-ready nation. Grounded in international and regional frameworks, including the Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction, the Sustainable Development Goals, and the Comprehensive Disaster Management Strategy, the framework takes a holistic approach to disaster risk management. It spans the full disaster cycle, from prevention and mitigation to preparedness, response, recovery, and rehabilitation, while integrating critical cross-cutting priorities such as climate change, gender, environmental sustainability, and the use of modern technologies. The program is informed by a comprehensive national risk assessment and gap analysis, which identified key challenges in areas such as hazard mapping, interagency coordination, emergency response systems, and recovery planning. In response, the Country Work Program outlines strategic priorities to strengthen institutional and legal frameworks, enhance knowledge management, improve sectoral resilience, empower communities, and establish sustainable financing mechanisms for disaster response and recovery. Importantly, the program reinforces NEMO's central role as a coordinating body for disaster risk management in Belize, while promoting stronger collaboration across government, communities, and development partners. Through a robust monitoring and evaluation framework, the Country Work Program will ensure accountability, track progress, and support continuous improvement over the next 5 years. Together, these efforts represent a significant step forward in building a safer, more resilient Belize, one that is better prepared to withstand and recover from the increasing impacts of natural hazards and climate change. Additionally, Madam Speaker, the Belize National Fire Service has undergone transformational changes and continues to play a critical role in protecting lives and properties across our country. We are pleased that finally new operational allowances were approved for firefighters, including scenes allowance, wet and dry allowance, and emergency medical service allowance. By approving these allowances, Madam Speaker, it is a recognition of the demanding nature of the work of the members of the National Fire Service. 7 firefighters were promoted to leadership positions, and 23 new recruits joined the service, strengthening operational capacity nationwide. The department has also expanded its emergency medical services, with EMS operations in the Cayo district now responding to more calls than fire incidents. Through strong international partnerships, the fire service also received $3 million in rescue equipment and operational tools from the United States Embassy, significantly strengthening national emergency response capabilities. Madam Speaker, we are moving forward with the construction of a new fire station in San Ignacio Town. And as mentioned last year, we are moving forward with the construction of the National Fire Headquarters. In addition, we are working with our partners to upgrade our fire truck fleet. These investments represent a renewed commitment to the National Fire Service and to the safety and security of our communities. Madam Speaker, across the Ministry of Public Service and Disaster Risk Management, the work undertaken over the past year reflects a clear commitment to strengthening both the institutions and the people that serve Belize. From modernizing human resource systems and strengthening the public service, to investing in disaster preparedness, climate science, and emergency response, the initiatives highlighted today represent meaningful progress toward building a stronger and more resilient nation. Behind each of these initiatives are the dedicated public officers who work tirelessly to serve the Belizean people. Their commitment, professionalism, and dedication continue to drive the progress we see across this ministry. Madam Speaker, I cannot say enough for the work of our public officers. As Belize continues to face new challenges from climate change to evolving national development needs, the importance of a capable public service and strong national preparedness system cannot be overstated. This ministry remains committed to strengthening both. Madam Speaker, I turn back now to Fort George. I remain deeply grateful for the continued support and confidence of my constituents, whose strength and commitment to community continue to inspire my work. We have a saying, Madam Speaker, Fort George strong, and I can assure you that we live by that creed. But it's not about power or position, it is about people. Fort George is strong because its people are strong. People like Carol Francis and Dennis Rayburn, who work hard to keep the community together and keep the community safe. People like Molly Castillo and Andrew Longsworth, who are there every day meeting with residents. People like Scott Haylock and Alex Riverol, who provide leadership and operational support to all the work being done. And of course, as the Prime Minister reminded me, I can't forget the Venerable Lenny Joe. Always there, always supporting. She and my siblings, Madam Speaker, two of whom I just visited this past weekend in the US, They are the backbone to the work that I do in Fort George every single day. Over the past year, we are proud to say that thanks to the Deputy Prime Minister, we have been able to continue to provide land titles to first-time owners. And yes, DPM, we need to put in the infrastructure because these people are ready to build. We are proud to say that thanks to the Ministry of Housing, 6 new homeowners were able to move into their homes this past year. One of them, Ms. Lafayette Lewis, is here today. Lafayette is a hard-working mother and a grandmother, even though she looks so young. She goes to her job each day at the City Council with a smile on her face. I'm happy that you have your home now, love. Another is Miss Asia, also here with us today. Miss Asia is a proud homeowner, Minister Ispat at Blackberry Estate. Minister, her life has been transformed by receiving her home. This is truly a remarkable project, a remarkable program that the Ministry of Housing continues to do every single day. Very soon, we hope to turn over more houses to deserving homeowners. And I have to thank the team at the ministry for always pushing for Fort George. And of course, you know, Marissa will always look out for Fort George, Minister Ispat. In terms of infrastructure work, Madam Speaker, last year I mentioned the partnership with the Ministry of Tourism to build a lighthouse boardwalk at the famous Baron Bliss Lighthouse. We were excited when preliminary work started, only to be disappointed when it was discovered that due to erosion, the boardwalk construction could not commence. I want to assure residents that we have engineers looking at the area now to recommend the best way forward. We also continue with the upgrading of the streets in the area and hopefully will complete the arteries around Pickstock Street and Victoria Street, such as the famous Lovely Lane. We hope to do these very soon. Madam Speaker, thanks to the Ministry of Education and the assistance that they have provided to Fort George, students are not only completing high school and sixth form, but are continuing to receive bachelor's degrees and master's degrees. The area is producing a cadre of professionals, and it gives me great pride to see that they don't forget FG. They come back and contribute to the development of their community, and that is what nation building is all about, Madam Speaker. In addition to these professionals, Fort George is seeing a boom in entrepreneurs. Small businessmen like Samir Shahade, also here with us today, who are able to benefit from the MSME policies of the government to grow their businesses and in turn improve their neighborhoods. Madam Speaker, last year the Fort George Digital Connect Center was opened, and just last week the Belize Robotics Federation signed an MOU with the government and Vex Robotics in the US. We are making a clear statement about the future we are choosing for our young people. We are investing in skills that matter. I always say, skills pay your bills. And robotics is not just about machines. It is about problem solving, critical thinking, innovation, and the confidence to compete on a global stage. Through this partnership, we are creating real pathways for our youth to move beyond theory into application, from classroom learning to career readiness. Fort George is not waiting on the future. We are preparing for it, equipping our students and our teachers with the skills they need to learn, to earn, and to transform Belize. Madam Speaker, I have to acknowledge the extraordinary work being done by the special teacher in my life, my wife, Jamie. That's right, DPM. The contribution she has made to secondary education, especially in STEAM learning and robotics, is remarkable and an inspiration to many young Belizean women. She also somehow finds the time to support my work, and for that I am very grateful. And what Jamie always encourages me to do, Madam Speaker, is to build a public service that makes citizens proud, service that is efficient, service that is fair and transparent, service that treats every person with dignity regardless of background, last name, village, or party color. If we do that, then we build a Belize that grows opportunity, a Belize that fosters prosperity, and a Belize that is future-focused. We have faced incredible obstacles such as limited resources, vulnerability to climate change, and external economic pressures, but we move forward as a nation. In this, our 45th anniversary of independence, we must continue to prioritize investing in people, our country's greatest resource. It will take a shared national commitment to the future of Belize. We must consult more and consult better. We must make it easier for people to participate. We must explain decisions clearly, speak honestly, and show respect even when opinions differ. We must make sure policies are not only well written on paper, but felt in real life, in the daily experience of families, teachers, farmers, entrepreneurs, public officers, and our young people. Democracy is not a decoration, Madam Speaker. It is a daily practice, and Belize is strongest when every Belizean feels seen, heard, and valued. To paraphrase the Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney, nostalgia is not a strategy. We can't hope that things will work out or that they will go back to the way they were before. We have to face the new challenges head on with confidence, not fear. We must choose optimism backed by action. Even if the issues are difficult, we must have the courage to consult, to listen, to reason, and to move forward with conviction. Only together, Madam Speaker, can we continue the march of progress. Madam Speaker, on behalf of the people of Fort George, and with great confidence in the work that has been accomplished, and with optimism for the progress that lies ahead, I support this budget. Thank you.
Prime Minister, I will ask that we dispense with Standing Order 12 before I call on the other member.
Madam Speaker, in accordance with Standing Order 12.8, I move that the proceedings on order paper may be entered upon and proceeded with at this day's sitting at any hour due.
Honourable members, the question is that the proceedings on the order paper be entered upon and proceeded with at this day's sitting at any hour due. Opposed? All those in favour kindly say aye. Aye. Those against kindly say no. I think the ayes have it. I recognize the honourable member for Corzal Bay.
Honourable Madam Speaker, permission to refer to my notes. Honourable Madam Speaker, honourable members of the House, before I speak to national figures, Madam Speaker, I must speak to the constituency that entrusted me with a sacred duty, Corzal Bay. Madam Speaker, when I walk the streets of my beloved Corzal town, from First Avenue up to my own neighborhood of Santa Rita Layout and from South End to White Cocal, from Joseito Layout to Lower Halls Layout and everywhere in between, I see the human face of development. In this budget, I am proud to announce that we are bringing the work of the different ministries directly to the people of Corzal Bay. We have invested in financial literacy programs for women and girls. We have, through the Ministry of Investment, retrained women in cell phone repairs and in animation boot camps, together with funding from our friends, the People and Embassy of Taiwan in Belize. And we have ensured training in non-traditional technical fields to increase the earning capacity of women and girls. We have also sponsored sports and other activities for children and youth. The Mundialito football competition, football for girls, volleyball competition, and basketball have finally come back to Corzal. Madam Speaker, over this last year, we have invested our efforts ensuring that 430 more students from Corozal Bay received education assistance as part of our commitment to investing in our families and children. We have ensured that 1,500 school bags were distributed to students in preschool, primary, and secondary schools, ensuring that no one is left behind. And in terms of very deteriorated school buildings, we have secured assistance from the Caribbean Development Bank through the Belize Social Investment Fund to address the urgent situation. To fulfill our commitment to enhance inclusive spaces for children, we have embarked on cleanups and rehabilitation of some of the major parks in Corozal Bay, ensuring that our children will have proper spaces for recreation. And through a loan from the Inter-American Development Bank, we have successfully lobbied for Corozal Town and especially Corozal Bay to benefit from the sustainable and inclusive urban development that will focus on constructing multifunctional public spaces that include boardwalk infrastructure, shoreline protection, and ecological restoration in the area from the Children's Park to the Mother's Park, and will encompass all the area of the Fisherman's Pier and Coronation Park. This is in line with our commitment to lobby for public investments in Corozal Town to ensure that our tourism package becomes more attractive and at the same time helps us to restore and preserve our Corozal Bay coastline. Infrastructure has long been neglected in Corozal Bay, and this year we will again ensure that we are proactive in cleanup campaigns and in the maintenance of the drainage system before the rainy season to mitigate flooding as much as possible. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Minister and the Ministry of Infrastructure, Development and Housing for the incredible maintenance work done in many areas of Corozal Bay. This has brought much relief to many neighborhoods in Corozal Bay, and we know that this year we can continue to count on the assistance of MIDH. Madam Speaker, all this can only be done because I have a great team that work with me, because I have a family who supports me, and because I have a constituency that believes in me. I am deeply grateful to my constituency office personnel, to my executive, and to the party arms, without who I could not do as much as I have done this year for Corozal Bay. With that, Madam Speaker, I rise with a profound sense of responsibility and a deep well of gratitude. I am honored to stand before this honorable House to present the budget for the Ministry of Human Development, Family Support and Gender Affairs for the fiscal year 2026-2027. Madam Speaker, this portfolio is not merely about programs and line items. It is about the very soul of our nation. It is about the single mother in Trial Farm, working 2 jobs to send her daughter to school. It is about the elderly gentleman in Unitedville who built this country with his bare hands and now seeks only dignity. It is about the child in San Andres who needs protection and the young woman in Silk Grass who dreams of economic independence. Madam Speaker, this budget is the embodiment of this government's commitment to ensuring that no Belizean is left behind. It is a budget that protects the vulnerable, empowers the marginalized, and invests in the very fabric of our society. Madam Speaker, the mandate of this ministry is broad, but our focus is razor sharp, and we are responsible for the social safety net, the protection of our children, the empowerment of our women, the inclusion of persons with disabilities, and the care of our elders. Under the visionary leadership of our Prime Minister, we have been allocated a budget of almost $28 million. This to ensure that these services